If you have been a fan of Little People Big World since the beginning, there is a strange and beautiful realization that hits you at some point. The babies on the show grew up. The toddlers became teenagers. The teenagers became adults. The adults got married. And now those same kids, the ones you watched bouncing around the pumpkin patch in 2006, are themselves parents. Matt and Amy Roloff, who once raised 4 young children on Roloff farms in front of cameras, are now grandparents to 8 grandchildren, across 3 different Roloff branches, with a 4th branch, Molly's, currently childless. 8 cousins, 8 different personalities, 8 different futures, and every single one of them is a member of a family that has, in its own complicated way, been one of the most documented American families in modern television history. Tonight on LPBW Update, we are walking through every single Roloff grandchild, their names, their ages, their parents, their personalities, the way the 3 branches of the family interact with each other, the rare moments when all the cousins are in the same room together, and the question that hangs over all of them, which is, what does it mean to be a Roloff grandchild in 2026, after the show has ended and the family has been through so much? Because these 8 little people, in their own way, are the future of the Roloff name, and their story is just beginning. Let us start with Zach and Tori Roloff's branch. Zach and Tori have 3 children, and what makes their family particularly notable in the Roloff context is that all 3 of their children have achondroplasia dwarfism, the same condition as Zach. Tori is of average height. Zach has dwarfism. The genetic odds of any of their children being born with achondroplasia were approximately 50% for each pregnancy. The fact that all 3 of their children inherited the condition is a statistical outcome that the family has been open about and that has given them a special place in the little person community. Their oldest, Jackson Kyle Roloff, was born in May of 2017. As of this recording in 2026, Jackson is 9 years old. He has been a presence on Little People, Big World for most of his life, having grown up in front of the cameras until the show ended. He is described by his parents as energetic, curious, and naturally affectionate. He loves sports. He loves spending time with his cousins. He has, in some ways, become the de facto oldest grandchild of the Matt and Amy Roloff generation, the leader of the cousin pack when they all get together. Zach and Tori's second child is Lilah Ray Roloff, born on November 19, 2019. Lilah is 6 years old as of 2026. She is the granddaughter that Matt Roloff posted about in August of 2025 when he attended one of her sporting events alongside Amy and Chris. That photo, which we covered in a previous video on this channel, was one of the most significant family moments of the year. Lilah, by all accounts, is sweet, sporty, and increasingly aware of her own dwarfism in age-appropriate ways. Her parents have talked openly on their Raising Heights podcast about the importance of raising Lilah to be confident in her body, to understand her condition, and to grow up surrounded by love. Lilah is, in some sense, the granddaughter who has helped bridge the gap between Matt and Zach after the farm feud. By being present at her events, Matt has been able to show up for his family in a way that did not require a direct conversation with his estranged son. Lilah has been, without knowing it, a kind of family ambassador. The youngest of Zach and Tori's 3 children is Josiah Luke Roloff, born on April 30th, 2022. Josiah is 3 years old as of 2026. Like his older siblings, he was born with achondroplasia, which Tori confirmed in May of 2022, shortly after his birth. Josiah is described as easygoing, snuggly, and the baby of the family in every charming sense of the term. He is too young to remember the years when the show was actively filming. He is growing up in Washington, where Zach and Tori moved after the farm feud. He is the first of the Roloff grandchildren who will have no direct memory of Roloff Farms or of Little People Big World as it existed in its prime. That is a significant generational shift. Josiah represents the future of the family in the most literal sense, a future that does not include cable television cameras as part of his everyday childhood. Now let us move to Jeremy and Audrey Roloff's branch. Jeremy and Audrey have 4 children, and unlike Zach and Tori's family, all 4 of Jeremy and Audrey's children are of average height. Jeremy, although he is Zach's twin, was born without dwarfism. Audrey is also of average height, so none of their children have the achondroplasia gene activated. The contrast between Zach and Tori's family and Jeremy and Audrey's family is, in some ways, a powerful illustration of the genetic complexity of the Roloff family overall. Jeremy and Audrey's oldest child is Ember Jean Roloff, born on September 10, 2017. Ember is 8 years old as of 2026. She was named, according to Audrey, partly because campfires and embers had significance for her parents' relationship, and partly because they loved the name itself. Ember is, by all accounts, a creative child. Her parents have said she is joyful, smart, compassionate, thoughtful, and always looking out for anyone who might feel left out. Audrey has shared in interviews that Ember wants to be an artist or a bookmaker when she grows up. Ember and Jackson, her cousin from the Zach and Tori branch, are very close in age, having been born only 4 months apart. They have grown up together, attending many family events together, and serving in important roles at family weddings. Ember was the flower girl at Amy Roloff's wedding to Chris Merrick in August of 2021, while Jackson served as the ring bearer. Jeremy and Audrey's second child is Bode James Roloff, born on January 8, 2020. Bode is 6 years old as of 2026. He is described by his parents as adventurous, full of energy, and the family's outdoor kid. The connection between Bode and Roloff Farms became significant in early 2026, when Bode's birthday was celebrated in the barn at the original Roloff Farms property. That birthday celebration, according to Audrey, was what triggered the recent conversations between Jeremy and Audrey about possibly buying Roloff Farms themselves. The what-if moment, as Audrey called it, came in part because of Bode's connection to the place where his father had grown up. Bode is, in that sense, already shaping family decisions in ways he probably does not yet realize. The third Jeremy and Audrey child is Radley Knight Roloff, born on November 8, 2021. Radley is 4 years old as of 2026. He is the third boy in a row in his branch of the family, although his older sister Ember balances things out. Radley is described as a quieter, more contemplative child than his older brother Bode. He has a strong attachment to his siblings and is often pictured cuddling with his parents in the family's many social media posts. Audrey shares enough of her family life on Instagram that fans have watched Radley grow from infancy through toddlerhood, even though his family has not been on the show since before his birth. The fourth and youngest Jeremy and Audrey child is Mirabella Roloff, born in 2024. Mirabella is the most recent addition to the entire Roloff grandchild lineup. As of 2026, she is around 2 years old. She completes the Jeremy and Audrey family of 6. Mirabella has not been seen as frequently on social media as her older siblings, partly because Jeremy and Audrey have become more protective of their children's online presence as their family has grown. But she has appeared in select family photos, including the rare Thanksgiving 2024 photo that featured all 8 Roloff grandchildren together on a couch. That brings us to Jacob and Isabel Roloff's branch, which includes the youngest of the 4 Roloff sibling branches and the most fiercely private. Jacob and Isabel have one child, a son named Mateo Tomas Roloff, born on December 4, 2021. Mateo is 4 years old as of 2026. His first name, Mateo, is a deliberate nod to his grandfather, Matt Roloff. His middle name, Tomas, honors Isabel's late brother, who passed away years ago and whose memory is a deeply important part of Isabel's life. The naming itself tells you something about Mateo's place in the family. He carries both the Roloff legacy through Matt and the Rock family legacy through his late uncle. He is the only child of the Roloff sibling who lives on Roloff Farms, which means he is the only grandchild currently growing up on the original property. He is, in a real sense, the third generation of Roloffs to grow up running through those fields. What makes Mateo notable, however, is how protective Jacob and Isabel are of his privacy. Unlike most of the other grandchildren, who appear regularly on social media in clearly visible photos, Mateo's face has never been shown publicly. Jacob and Isabel have made the explicit choice to shield their son's identity from the public. When they post photos of Mateo, his face is either obscured, turned away from the camera, or covered. Isabel has been clear about this on her Substack and on social media. She and Jacob have decided that Mateo will not be a public figure, even though they themselves have public-facing identities. He gets to grow up without his face being part of the Roloff brand. He gets to choose, when he is older, whether he wants any kind of public life. That protection is one of the most thoughtful parenting choices any Roloff has made in this television-saturated environment. And it stands in deliberate contrast to how Matt and Amy raised their own 4 children in front of cameras starting in 2006. Then there is Molly Roloff, the only daughter of Matt and Amy, who is married to Joel Silvius. Molly and Joel got married in 2017 at Roloff Farms in a ceremony that fans were not allowed to see, because Molly insisted on keeping it private. Molly has consistently chosen the private path throughout her adult life. She left the show. She does not maintain a major social media presence. She does not give interviews. She lives quietly, with Joel, somewhere outside of Oregon. As of this recording in 2026, Molly and Joel have not publicly announced any children. That may change at some point. It may not. Whatever Molly decides, she has earned the right to make those decisions privately. She is the only Roloff sibling who has, in effect, chosen complete invisibility. And that choice has, by every observable measure, been a healthy and stabilizing one for her. The 8 grandchildren, when they are together, represent something remarkable. In November of 2024, on Thanksgiving, at least 3 of the 4 Roloff sibling branches gathered with their children. Audrey shared a photo on Instagram of all 8 Roloff cousins sitting together on a couch, cheesing for the camera. Ember, Bode, Radley, Mirabella, Jackson, Lilah, Josiah, and Mateo, all in one frame. For fans who had watched the family go through so much divorce, farm fights, broken engagements, and shifting alliances, the photo was a quiet revelation. The cousins, the next generation, were still finding ways to be together. Whatever the parents had been through, the kids were getting to know each other. They were building cousin relationships. They were creating memories. They were, in their own small way, holding the family together. What is the future of these 8 kids? That is impossible to predict. What we can say is that they are growing up in a different world than their parents did. They will not, by all current indications, spend their childhoods on a reality television show. They will grow up with iPhones, with social media, with private school options, with all the modern privileges of being children of relatively financially comfortable parents. Some of them will inherit pieces of the Roloff legacy through Jeremy and Audrey's eventual farm decisions, or through Jacob and Isabel's stewardship of the original property, or through other inheritances we cannot yet predict. Others will simply grow up to be private adults, doing whatever they choose, with no expectation of public attention because of who their grandparents happen to be. Will any of them ever return to television? That is also impossible to predict. Reality television is not what it was in 2006. The next generation of Roloffs may have absolutely no interest in being on camera. They may, when they are old enough to choose for themselves, want to do exactly what Jacob did and walk away from the public side of the family entirely. Or they may, for reasons we cannot anticipate, choose to embrace their inheritance in some form. We do not know yet. None of them are old enough to make those decisions, and whatever they choose, they should be free to choose it on their own terms. What is clear is that the Roloff family, as a multi-generational entity, is healthy enough to keep producing the next generation. 8 grandchildren spread across 3 branches of the family, with a 4th branch in Molly potentially adding more in the future, is a remarkable expansion of the family in just 9 years since the divorce. Matt and Amy Whatever their personal complications, our grandparents many times over now. Their lives have been reshaped by these 8 children in ways they probably never could have imagined when Little People Big World first premiered. The show may be over, the marriage may be over, the engagements may be over, but the family is growing. And that, in the end, may be the most important Roloff story of all. So I want to know what you think. Which of the 8 Roloff grandchildren do you find yourself rooting for the most? Do you think Jacob and Isabel are right to keep Mateo's face private? Or do you think the family should be more open about all the grandkids equally? And do you think any of these 8 cousins will end up on television someday? Or do you think the next generation will choose privacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and I love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to LPBW Update, and ring the bell so you do not miss our weekly Roloff family stories. We are committed to bringing you the truth, the timeline, and the heart of this remarkable American family. I will see you on the next one.